Okay, time to start another binge video. Thanks for helping me out, guys, much appreciated. I got it from here though. Let's turn this heavy girl around, shall we? Always the fun part of one of these bikes. Okay. Sometimes this is just the easier way. Just sometimes, not all the time. Gosh, she is a bit of a heavier girl, isn't she? I'm feeling her. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, dog. I'm feeling it. Well, I tell you what, you do notice the difference in this bike with the weight of it. I'm a lot more having to give it a more of a thrust up. There is no way on God's green earth that I'd want to take this off-roading. I always thought, God, there's no way I'd want to take my bike off-roading, but there's no way I'd want to do it with this one, because this would be such a heavy thing to do. To do that, to take this off-roading the whole time would be so heavy. Right, okay, here we go. So I've been out riding the new 1300 GSA out for I'd say a couple of hours now. It's been good riding, actually. It's I didn't think I was going to like her as much as I do. I really didn't. I went into it really quite skeptical about the bike, thinking, no, they've changed it, I don't like the look of it and all that. And it's still not my favourite. I like the 1250. I like the one I've got. There was something about the 1250 where I just thought it was just perfect. Out of all the years that they built it up to, that was perfect. But do you know what? I've really grown to like it. I think this bike just rides really nicely. It's a really nice bike to ride. And just it feels like the 1250, but it just feels like it's been sharpened, if that makes sense. It feels like a knife that's just been sharpened, and it's that little bit more refined. Even down to changing the gears, you can feel the gears going there so much more smoothly, and like the only way I can describe it, it's like having a Land Rover Defender, and you're going along in the gears, and you got you know how you Land Rover Defender, it's a little bit more agricultural, that you can feel it. Not like it's awful, but it's just that little bit more agricultural sort of feel. And then this, it feels like you're jumping into, feels like you've gone from that and then you've jumped into like a BMW 3 Series. And you know how when you go into like one of those cars, the gears just going whoop, and it's just lovely and smooth and easy. You're like, oh wow, that's a lot easier. And it's not even like the 1250 is hard, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it's just little stuff like that that's refined. The speed of it, the speed is really, yeah, I'm not noticing it. I feel like with the 1250 it was more down low, all like grunt and talk down the bottom, whereas this one I feel like it's all more very up at the top bar. But it is a lovely bike to ride. It's yeah, I've gotten on it, and I have actually been pleasantly surprised with riding it. I've really enjoyed it, and I just think BMW just know how to build a bike. Their quality of their stuff is just amazing. I love all the quality around it, all the even the paint job and everything. They do nice quality. That's what I would say. It's very lovely quality. So that would give me peace of mind as well, to know that if I was going out to buy one of these, because there are quite a few bikes that you go to look at nowadays and the quality just doesn't feel there, all around the engine bays and all that, and whereas this, it does feel really nicely made. It feels nice, it feels solid, and it is a lovely bike to ride. I don't feel like I'm as sharp on the road. It feels like I'm having to kind of wrestle with her a little bit more, whereas with the 1250 it was like you point it and it just feels like you feel like you're a fighter jet on that one, whereas this one I feel like I'm like a Lancaster bomber slightly. It's that bigger, it just feels like, yeah, that's the way I can kind of describe it. It feels like I'm just going along in a bigger plane. But if you're going to go out there and look for one of these sort of bikes, I mean, you can't beat one of these. It's I mean, the price is extortionate now. It's 23,000 for the basic, I think it is, and then you'd have to do all your little like add-on extras to it. But as far as the these new bikes go. I look at it and think, yeah, do you know what? Someone went out there and got it. I've been riding it for a few hours. I've been quite comfortable with it. I find the handlebar position is actually quite a little bit better. Because I find with the 1250, I'm a little bit more reached out like that. With my shoulder blades feels like they're just a little bit too far out, like 20-30 mil. And I know you can obviously get the handlebar extenders. I'm not saying that. But this just feels like it's just been made a little bit nicer to ride for the shoulder blades. Like from the get-go, it feels like that. I was really shocked about the screen as well. I thought the screen was going to be, when I looked, I thought, what have they done with that as well? They made it so small. There's just no point. What's that going to do? I've been really pleasantly surprised by that. The way they designed it, or the angles, or whatever they've done, or even these two bigger side buffers on it as well. Honestly, the way it cuts the wind off onto you, I am really shocked. And it's solid. It is a really solid one as well. And being able to do that, you'll see the wind difference in a minute. Like, being able to do that when you're riding along is so nice. It's not the be all and end all of the world. I know it's tiny little things that we don't really need, but it's all the little tiny things that can make a difference into making your journey a little bit more pleasurable. Riding position, I feel like they're trying to go towards more, these bikes nowadays, everyone seems to be going, all these brands nowadays seem to be going towards making these sort of bikes into like sports bikes. They're all trying to make them a lot more faster. They're all trying to make them some more of a racing sort of thing, and I do find that quite a shame, because that's not what these are about. They are plenty fast enough, but I don't feel like they need to be made into a sports bike. It's going to be fast enough anyway, but yeah, so I find like your seating position, I feel like I'm seating more like I'm going to get on a sports bike. My feet are just a little, well, my legs are just a little bit too like that back, whereas before they were a little bit more, just a tiny bit. I know it sounds silly, but it's just all those little things that I'm finding with it. So on a longer journey, I think you would actually feel it after a little while. You'd be going, oh, my knees are, yeah, if you start getting after the age of 30, then you're going to start turning around going, oh, my knees feel just a little bit, like they could be doing with just a little bit more forward, so that I'm not too pushed back as much. And there'll be plenty of people on here that will be turning around going, no, I don't see that at all. That's fine. That's just literally just me. It's just me riding it, and me coming from a 1250 onto this one now. The seat, yeah, the seat's not too bad. I thought the seat was going to be more uncomfortable, but the seat's actually somewhat quite comfortable actually. I do think for bikes like this, they do need to make them a little bit more like softer and a little bit more, because you're going to be doing some long journeys onto this, and I know this is like part off-road, part road bike, but I do think after like 2 hours of riding on this, you're going to feel it on your bum. But a good little bike. I'm pleasantly surprised by this bike. I think if you were someone that was looking to go out and buy an adventure bike, this does feel like the one if you're going to go out and do a touring adventure bike. Again, these are not the type of bikes that I'd ever want to take off-roading, especially not after spending 23 grand plus whatever else for added extras. That's not what I'd want to do with this. But I look at it and think, do you know what? This is a lovely little like touring bike, and it's got a lovely height to it. It's smooth. I think you'd enjoy it. I honestly really do. I was very skeptical of thinking this bike wasn't going to be that good and that they've ruined it all, but they haven't. They've just sharpened a knife up. That's all it is. It's little touches what they've done to it to make it just that little bit more comfortable, easier to ride. And you don't always need that. It's not like you need, like I said, my 1250. That for me has enough ruggedness, but also enough luxuries on it to where I feel like I'm still on a nice bike to ride. But that's pretty, isn't it? Very pretty. But yeah, I think if you were to go out and get one of these, I think you'd buy yourself a great bike. I do think you need to experience one of these. Whoever's looking at it, yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I do think you need to get out. Whoever's thinking about one of these, you really need to get out and try one of them out. I found with the 1250 there's a lot more torque on it, lower end torque. Whereas this one, I'm finding all of the grunt seems to come from the top end of it all, which I'm finding quite interesting to get used to that, because yeah, the 1250 again, it feels like you've got a diesel engine onto it. It's just very torquey at the bottom, whereas this one, you're getting past that, like, I'll say 5,500–6,000 revs, and it's just like, whoa, where did this beast come from? It's that is what I have found quite impressive with it. But yeah, it's I think whoever goes out and buys one of these, I think you have got yourself a good bike. I'm not particularly partial to the looks of it. It's not. I have to have a bike as well that I look at and get off and I go, wow, that's stunning. And unfortunately for me, with that front headlight, I can't do that with this. But it does grow on you. I will say it grows on you, and I think it's because it's there's little things that it does do to you that you kind of look at. Only way I can describe it is, when you were a kid, you used to watch the Spider-Man films, didn't you? And you always like, yeah, go for Mary Jane, go for Mary Jane, go for Mary Jane. And then there's that girl that comes in, brings in the cookies and all that, and you're like, no, I wouldn't want her. And then as you get older, you're like, man, Mary Jane was a flipping bitch. And you're like, that girl next door, she was so sweet. And then as you're older, you're like, do you know what, actually? She's quite a nice girl. And then you're like, oh, do you know what, she's quite an attractive girl, actually. And then you're like, actually, she's awesome. You're like, Peter Parker, ditch her, go for the girl next door. She treats you nice. She's lovely. That's what this is. I think you, over time, where it's just treating you so nicely, you're like, oh my days. I think then you would start to fall in love with it. That's my only way I can describe this thing. But yeah, lovely experience. I'm really glad I took one of these out, and it's really nice to know that there is still a nice enduro bike to go out and have some fun with. You do notice the weight though. I tell you what, trying to whenever you're taking this bike off its stand, side stand. Wow, I feel like I'm really having to chuck it up to get it in and over back into where it needs to be. I don't know quite why that is. Obviously, it's got to be heavier because obviously it's bigger engine, I'm guessing, but that's got to be down to it. But I do feel the weight difference of trying to. Well, I look at my 1250 and I think, do you know what? I could ride that all the way up to I'm about probably 60, late 60. I look at this one, I think, flipping it, man. I don't know if I want to be chucking that bike around and we're flipping 60s, something like this. I don't think I'd be able to cope with it. I don't think my hips would allow me to do that. So that's the only thing. It's not something I don't want to take off-roading. Another little good thing is if you've got an iPhone 14 Pro Max, it fits directly in that. So if you haven't got any of this and you're running out of space and you're trying to find back to the garage that you've borrowed this from, it fits directly in there with a Quad Lock Pro case. That's really handy. Lovely. I'll have a bit of that all day long for an extra side of servings. Lovely. I think if someone goes out and buys one of these, you have got yourself a good bike. It's a solid, lovely bike to ride. I love the gear changing on it. It feels nice. It just feels like you've gone from an older Land Rover Defender to one of those new Land Rover Defenders probably to drive. That's what it probably feels like. But again, it's time. Everything changes over time, isn't it? So I guess that's kind of what it is. It's just, everything's going to get refined. Everything's going to make me smoother, a little bit more. I don't personally need that on my one. I'm more than happy with the ruggedness and how my bike is. But if you're someone else who wants something a little bit more smooth, a little bit more easier to ride, I would definitely say this is the one to go for. So yeah, well guys, that's my review. It's a starting off review. I got to get used to it. I'm not very good at these, but this is kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. I'll get better as I go along, and as time goes on, I'll start being able to describe things and see what I like more. But for now, This will have to do.